And I'm just trying to get finished up here. My next step after I do this is to slap some covering on there. I'd like to get it covered and glued on before I go to work, but I think best case scenario is I'm going to get it covered. So I'm almost finished with the wing area, the fuse, the wing attachment, and next I'll be going to the horizontal stabilizer, of course. Just a little safety hint. I've done it before and I'm making sure I don't do it again. I just plugged in my iron, and you know, sometimes I get going in this stuff before work. I get in a hurry to leave the damn iron on. So what I do now is I got one of these El Cheapo timers. I take the start pin out, the green start pin out, and I just put the red one in, turn it on, and about 45 minutes to an hour, that'll automatically shut off the power to the iron. So say I scoot off to work in a bit of panic because time got away on me, iron shut off, don't have to worry about burning the friggin' hose down. Just thought I'd throw that little tip in there before I slap the money coat to this thing. Well, I got it all covered. I'm just going to cut those holes out. All's left now is epoxy this thing in place. May have to put another little, I think I'm going to have to put a balsa shim in here. That's no big deal. Just to give me a good glue joint here. It's just a matter of running a strip there. Yeah, she's ready. Ready to glue in. I'm kind of hoping to be able to fly this weekend. Today is Thursday. I gotta work tonight, but we'll see how this plays out. And tomorrow is my first day off. So if I can get the tail feathers hinged and installed, the rest is pretty much assembly. So I got the bottom of the fuselage back in. I epoxied that in, and I'm making a little shim out of it, sanded a little gap there. So I filled that up, and just to make sure I got a good glue joint here. So all this is epoxied in. And all I did was cut the strip out where the wood joins, because I have these openings here that'll allow more air to escape other than just through this hole here. So there's a hole in the bulkhead there under, just behind this landing gear plate, so air can also get out here as well, because these things will air dam. Your exit's supposed to be 2/3 bigger than your entrance, so I did that just to give it extra. And I left the black covering in the middle just so you're not seeing bare wood when you look through there for some reason. Yeah. So next step, put the horizontal stabilizer. Now I put my horizontal stab in. I always put triangle stock on the inside. A lot of guys worry about weight, and I've seen guys build them nice and light, but every time I end up putting lead in the tail. So if I'm going to have extra weight in the tail, it's going to be structural. So I always do this. So I put that in at softball, so it's not, it doesn't have to be hard stuff. I just like that extra contact area for the glue joint. So when I glue that in there, it ain't coming out. I always use a washer, solder a washer on my landing gear, even the tail wheel for a stopper, instead of using those big collars on the inside anyway. And I use a piece of silicone fuel tubing to act as a backer for it. Works pretty good. This is half A fuel line, of course, on this tail, on this little tail wheel. But yeah, it's a kind of an old trick. Works good. The ARF came with this tail wheel course, or kind of foam thing. Now, I may take it off and put a Dubro aluminum one on it. Yeah, it's heavier, but if this airplane's nose heavy, then I will do that. But I gotta say that neat little bullet shaped wheel collar. I kind of like that. And I said, shit, that's actually kind of neat. So yeah, I definitely put that on. And on this side, instead of having the wheel rubbing up against this thing, I soldered a small washer on there. And like I showed you before, I used a little piece of half-A fuel tubing to back it. That works pretty good. The only challenge you have is the solder tends to want to stick to your iron and your solder. She's getting there. Almost done. The other retarded thing I'm doing, same thing I do with my smoothie. I put the landing gear on, and the airplane's black, and I had the aluminum landing gear on it, and it's just, I looked at it, it's like, wow. It sticks out like a sore thumb. So I just put etching primer on the aluminum gear. I scruffed it up, wiped it down with alcohol, and using this Duplicolor etching primer. I don't know how much fun I'm going to have getting the yellow to cover that, but we'll see. If it's too much, first coat shows through too much, I'll just go over it with gray. But this is an etching primer, and I found it works really well on aluminum. So I got the bottom sprayed. I'm just going to hit the top now. And I usually leave the contact area in the fuselage bare aluminum, because I've found a lot of times the paint will actually stick to your monocoat or to the dope you get on the fuse. So masked it off, and I'll give her this in two coats in the bottom, and I'll give her 2 coats in the top. Alright, after the first flight, she flew very fast. My concerns about that E-Flight 15 were unfounded. I had a 10.7 prop on it because that's what I'm using on my Ringmaster, so I assumed this would want the same thing. And I have a 15 equivalent on the Ringmaster, but I believe it's a slower RPM motor as well. With a 10.7, this is a race plane with an E15 motor. It's got tons of power. I was fearful it was just going to be a go-kart bombing around on the grass, but it was off the ground in no time. And it was doing a 4-second lap. Way too fast. And that is on 57-inch airfoot lines. So we're down to, and I was 10,050 RPM. So put a 10.5 prop on it. Somehow managed to tweak the gears, so I got that straightened out last night. Sealed the flap and elevator hinge joints, so they're all sealed with tape. And I removed the spinner. I knocked 3/4 of an ounce of weight off by taking that spinner off, because that also allowed me to take a 1/4 ounce out of the tail. So the spinner's off. It's got a rather pointy nose anyway. The motor will cool better. I mean, it did look nice with the spinner, but actually it doesn't look too bad without it. So, lessons learned. If you do a conversion kit, I think on any of these planes, save weight wherever you can in the nose. Hindsight, I would have hollowed the nose blocks out a lot more, and whatever it takes to lose weight, probably cut lightning holes and the plywood doublers for sure. Even in the kit, cut away as much plywood as you can get away with, and hollow out these blocks. This bottom block I didn't hollow out a whole much. I'm kind of regretting that now, but it came in at 48 or 46.3 ounces battery in. Knocked 3/4 of an ounce off that now, so it should be about. So the biggest lesson learned I can say is make that nose light, strong but light. So if you can eliminate weight, and I could think of a few places I could probably maybe knock at least half an ounce out of that nose, it will save you throwing, because I got a whole ounce of lead in the tail. So other than that, I haven't flown it personally. I had a guy at the club fly it for me, and at that speed I'm kind of glad that he did. I had to take in a couple of turns in the elevator. She was doing the oscillating a little bit. He said it did fly good. Lucked out, the wing and everything was nice and level so far. It was windy as hell yesterday, so couldn't do much. And I just used the one of those little E-flite timers, because I can get a 1 minute run without dicking around too much with the controls, the governor in it. That was just a test flight, see where things are at. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more like that, then I'll just unplug it and then plug her back into the governor. So overall, I'm very happy with it. And she's not sensitive if you set her up. The plans don't tell you where to put the damn push rods. There's quite a few things that are missing. I don't know if the new ones make up for that or not. But when you control the push rod from the bell crank to the flap goes on the top hole, middle hole, or the one under the top, of course, is the middle, and middle on the elevator. But it's not in the, it doesn't tell you anything like that in the plans, but most control line guys know that anyway. Again, overall, the ARF itself was a piece of garbage, although the wing and tail feathers were fine. And the new fuselage, copied from the Brodak kit. I just scratch built that from tracing it out with the Brodak conversion A kit in the front. Worked fine. Like if I was building this kit, I wouldn't think twice about using that conversion kit. Although I would go way out of my way to get that front end lighter. So far I'm running a 2200 milliamp battery. I'm thinking that's probably as low as I can go. We'll find out later on. I will be doing other things to see if I can stretch that out a bit. But there's a lot of, I mean, without the battery, it was 38 ounces bang on. So that's not too bad. But once you throw that 13 ounce battery in there, of course now she's down to 37.25 ounces, but with the spinner and the ounce removed out of the tail. Anywho, that's enough lip flapping. Hopefully the weather clears up and I'll get another crack at flying this today. If I do, I'll remember to bring my damn GoPro and camera this time.